Yo, this is Sulada checking in. Today I'm gonna talk about the perspectives and also you being individualistic. For example, right here, you being an individual in the world, 3D, and how you see things, which is the point of views. So this is a clear example of you being individual, quote unquote spiritual, which I don't really like to use spiritual no more because it's saturated. But like I use for certain things, but I just don't be carrying around like, oh yeah, that's spiritual. Like it's just so much saturation through that point of view. But get to the point, you being an individual around this world, you're gonna have more viewpoints and awareness, as you can see, the viewpoints and shit like that. But the 4D, so that's your thoughts and ideas. So this is the vibration, no, actually the frequency of your thoughts, right here. And then the outward, that like the outer part, the external, is your vibration. So that's the 5D, how you carry yourself and shit like that, how you're on, how you feel. Also, it aligns with your self-esteem. So how your self-esteem is and shit like that. And then shout out to Dolo for this reference about the four. When you combine the 4 and 5D, it's gonna be your 6D. So what you think and feel is what you pay attention to from a 3D perspective. So like just say like you walking around and shit like that from a 1 to 3D. So how you think about and feel about the objects is gonna be your 6D. So what your spaceship goes through and shit like that. So like, everyday people, you go through everyday people, you notice different concepts, different weathers, and then shit places, and then, again like objects and items and shit like that. Like what does your spaceship pick up on, or what do your spaceship send? And then going all right, going back. Okay, so like this person, just say like it could be anybody who's individual, who got their own characteristic, instead of being indoctrinated by some type of human that like to be an ego and shit like that. They have their own individualistic traits and shit like that. So they're gonna have more angles and more viewpoints and more characteristics than this person who's indoctrinated inside the world. So this person doesn't have that much frequencies and shit like that because they don't have their own character or their own individual powers. Which, being an individual and being yourself is a power. But like it ain't like all like superpowerish and shit like that. It's really simple, just being yourself and you being used as vessel for all possibilities and shit like that. So compared to this person indoctrinated, so they're only limited to what they've been taught and shit like that, instead of being themselves, individual, and going out in the world and learn from themselves and be used for all possibility. They're gonna be limited, so they don't have to have much frequencies. So when you don't have that much frequency, you don't have that much thoughts and ideas. The only thoughts and ideas you have is about what's been taught to you, and this can go about since childhood. Some people been like dumb. I mean, not all people. Like all people been dumbed down. No. Some people been dumbed down, but most people or some people I can say is like they chose not to be dumbed down and shit like that. But some people, most spirits just chose to go along with the get along and shit like that. They didn't have like no resistance or no fight or nothing, or even try to like peep game and shit like that. They just went along, and then they think everything that's been taught to them, which is dumb, cause like all this shit's been human made and shit like that. And like if you wasn't like the type of nigga in class to like ask like, okay, why is that? Okay, why is that? Like you didn't have no like rebuttal or no counter argument or nothing. Like you basically like that makes you dull. And like basically the people that like, try to like be a teacher's pet and try to like learn everything, or like not trying to like talk back to the teacher or nothing like that. They didn't have no fight in them. That's like the best characteristics I can give to them. It's like really indoctrinated. Not to say school is cool and shit like that, because school is like networking and shit like that. You get along with people and shit like that. Instead of like education. The education is bullshit. But to talk to people and relate to people, that's the only thing about school that I fuck with. But going back, this person doesn't have that much frequency, so they don't have much thoughts, their own thoughts and ideas about shit. They only have thoughts and ideas about what's been taught to them externally, which is wrong. You should have your own thoughts and feelings about things. Not to say you can't learn and shit like that, but you should have your own thoughts and feelings. Hold up the camera, shit like that. Damn. I'm gonna keep on going though. Hope y'all can see. Okay, so this is thoughts to frequency. And then the outside's a vibration. So like how they vibration is and shit like that. So I noticed that when I go out and shit like that, how most people carry themselves and shit like that, especially when they've been indoctrinated, they don't have their own character or their own expression. So they only limited to a certain vibration and shit like that. And when you have like a broader perspective or a broader space, it can like bother them in a way and shit like that. Or and then another part, their vibration and shit like that, like what they vibe to and shit like that. So like if a person indoctrinated, they only vibe to this certain part or something that they've been indoctrinated to, and just say like this person try to communicate with this person is gonna feel some type of way or feel insecure and shit like that because this person has a more perspective and a broader space than this person who's indoctrinated and limited compared to this person who's unlimited and actually has an open mind. And so like you might get some signals and shit like that, like, oh, am I tripping? Or am I just like, nah, fuck that, you good and shit like that. It's just this person has a like a smaller space. They're closed minded and shit like that compared to this person. And shit. Hold up. Yeah, it's kinda blurry.